Hi everybody, welcome to G4G here on YouTube. Today we're taking a look at a game that is going to be available pretty soon. I believe it'll be the 12th, but it's on open beta in Steam right now and Uplay, and it's called For Honor. So a couple weekends ago, For Honor was in a closed beta. I actually got the invite and had an email for it, and then completely forgot until the weekend was over. I spent the whole weekend watching people play it on Twitch, and totally forgot that I was invited to it, and didn't see the email until after it was over. I think literally a couple hours after it was over. I was like, oh shit. So, it's kind of a shame because I happen to be talking with the girlfriend about this particular game, and she thought it looked cool as shit too, and I totally could have played it for her, but yeah. So, when you install For Honor and start playing, you will go through some intro movies, and then you will eventually come to a part where you do some training, and you can stay in the training as long as you want at a few points, and you can come out of guard mode and hit E and hold down E, and you'll come out of that particular training session, and you'll proceed further and further until you actually get up to a menu that looks like this. When you first go to multiplayer, you will be tasked with fighting your faction leader one time before you can actually go ahead and start playing multiplayer. And it's good because it kind of teaches you the basics of it. Now, there is a popular streamer by the name of Sacriel, who I used to watch back in the Evolve days. And he's actually what really got me into Evolve after the beta was done, and I decided to purchase it. Because as a streamer, he was one of the better streamers I think that I've ever seen for a game with learning curves, because as he played, he actually taught. He commentated in a very teaching way, and you simply got better just by paying attention to him. And he was very critical of his failures, very open about his successes, and told you why each thing happened. So he stopped playing Evolve and the beta, and I think moved on to something like World of Warships, which I wasn't interested in. So I lost touch with following Sacriel until recently. He started doing For Honor, and he plays a peacekeeper. So that's the first character that I decided to pick up, was a peacekeeper. Now, this game, why I bring him up is he is one of the few people that plays with mouse and keyboard religiously with this game. I found mouse and keyboard had way too many bindings, even with a button-heavy mouse like mine, which is currently a Logitech G602. It didn't feel very comfortable for me to do keyboard and mouse on this, so I am using a... What do you mean, dead? How am I dead? What? Okay. I just got into the game. Am I taking over a lever? Okay, wow, that's very interesting. So, I don't play this mouse and keyboard. Even though I will do every FPS with a mouse and keyboard, with this being a third-person game, this is controller for me, so I'm using a 360 controller. So when you capture a point, you will notice that your stamina and health will recharge when you are in that zone. So it's always good when you're hurt to duck out to friendly territory. This is the middle zone in Dominion, called Zone B. It is basically this eternal front of generic characters from each side fighting in a tug of war, basically. So here's one of the Vikings trying to hunt me down. What's really good about a Peacekeeper is the Peacekeeper really blends in during these major front battles over at Team B. So it's very easy to just go into guard mode and you're kind of ducking and you blend in. Oh, there is a enemy samurai. You don't want to get caught out too much and be near the ladders, because some classes can knock you in pretty easily. Yep, time to leave. Not doing too well with this battle here. So, since we have A, and maybe not, we have nothing. So I'm going to try to capture C. If I capture C, what I'm doing here is generally considered dishonorable combat. What you want to... Typically what people do is when a battle for a point like that is occurring, you tend to stand off to the side and let the battle go as it should. And then if your guy winds up losing, you jump in and finish off the enemy. Now, generally in Dominion, you don't always see the very honorable combat too much. Often people will definitely gang up, but in the duel modes, you don't see too many odd man out scenarios. See, I came out of guard mode because I thought the bot was going to go for my teammate over there, and he stayed on me. So when you're dead, you can ping the map, and a teammate will come by and res you. That is what the blue circle is over here. So that's a friendly who is dead, and I'm going to try to sneak by and res him, but he gave up. So what I like the Peacekeeper, aside from blending in over in the B area, is the Peacekeeper's got to bleed. So depending upon what combos you execute, you can leave the enemy bleeding, which is both good and bad. You're not doing direct damage. So essentially a smart enemy can run away until maybe a bleed is done or find a power-up and live, but at the same token it works for you because you can bleed somebody and then actually run away. And you can do the same thing too. Now, at this point in my Peacekeeper, there are two ways that I could bleed. There are two... he's trying to res. Oh, I didn't get there. Let's see if I can res this guy, though. Alright, so I gotta res out. So that move that I did over there where I grabbed him and shanked him in the kidney is one of the bleeds that the Peacekeeper has. Oh wow, the guy going up the ladder is knocking me out of the res. Uh-oh. So So there is a certain combo between the light and heavy attacks that causes a bleed, but the grab, if executed properly and you get the 3 stabs, missed the final one, but that was almost part of the combo. If you execute 3 stabs after that hold, the person bleeds, and I believe it's 30 damage, and it's over time, but it is pretty handy because you can leave somebody bleeding and know that they will die and then just run away.
You lost Zone C.
That's the kick off the grab, which is good if you want to knock somebody off an edge. And I died.
You captured Zone C.
So the Peacekeeper does not have the biggest amount of health in the world, as you can imagine. She is pretty light. But she's very fast.
You captured Zone A.
And she's not that good in the middle either. There are some classes that are really good at doing a lot of damage in the center and just wiping people out. So 6 and 2 there. When you get done with the battle, be it AI or full player versus player, you will get some experience, you will get some credits, and you will also find loot that you can either upgrade your equipment with the loot as it is, or you can dismantle it so that you can use the resources for other upgrades. So we're going to quit to the world map for now. And you go to customize, you pick the hero. This is where you can spend credits that you've earned. You can see up in the upper left over there I have 1564 credits. And I can use them for packs, or I can use them to unlock heroes. I've unlocked the Peacekeeper, so when you first install the game, you'll have the Warden, the Raider, and the Kensai available to you. The way that it typically goes is that the Kensai people believe are okay, but a lot of more experienced people have said that he's kind of a one-trick pony. During the celebrity stream that occurred on the 7th of February, Demetrius Johnson from the UFC, who is a known gamer on Twitch and streams constantly when he's not fighting or training, he was playing a Nobushi, and apparently he was very good. He did quite a good job with the Nobushi. He played that character for a while and had a lot of practice. And then the Samurai also have the Orochi. The Orochi is kind of the counter to the Knight's Peacekeeper. I believe the Orochi has a bleed or a poison attack. Over here in the Viking setup, we have the Raider, the Warlord, and the Berserker. Some people find Berserkers quite annoying. Other people think that the Raider is quite overpowered. I believe he has a charging pickup and throw, so if you are anywhere that you might get knocked off, I do believe it's the Raider that has a very strong run and pickup and just dumps you off edges very easily. The Warlord is considered pretty hardy. Over here, the Knights have the Warden, the Conqueror, and the Peacekeeper. So the Warden is kind of the middle ground for the Knights, and the Conqueror is apparently very, very tough. You can't see it because it's cut off, but he's got a flail like the Crusader from Diablo or Johanna from HOTS, and you can see it right over there. And Peacekeeper doesn't even have a shield, just has a sword and a dagger. Kind of Assassin's Creed-ish. So with your heroes, you can actually customize your looks. So you get to customize, and now I scavenged a weapon. You'll see daggers lit up with the 1. And I can fully equip this other dagger. My throw distance will go up, my revenge mode will go down, revenge gained by injury stays the same. So it's a bit of an upgrade. If I salvage it, I get 5 night salvage. And I think this one I will actually keep. So you can swap looks, you can upgrade it if you have the right amount of armor salvage and coins. Or you can equip it. So I'm going to go ahead and equip it over the default. So with the customization, you can set up your feats, your emotes, and your executions. So that's a common one there for the Peacekeeper. You see this one a lot. There's the sacrifice. I believe lead to the slaughter is... Well, all executions restore some health. But I know led to slaughter really does. Sacrifice is probably the one that you actually see the most, because it looks vicious as shit. I have never seen a Sunday roast yet. Oh, wow, that's awesome. That is brutal. So you have emotes. And you have feats. So gain health and stamina when you kill another hero. You eventually then can unlock a flash grenade or crossbow or fear itself. Crossbows are considered really obnoxious for the Peacekeepers. Especially in duel mode where you'll have your assigned enemy starting to run towards you and then they take a crossbow to the face. If you go to the appearance, you can begin to modify your gear a little bit. So there are outfits that you will unlock with reputation, or you can purchase, and then you can modify, similar to say like Titanfall, other aspects of your character. That crest that you see right on the chest over there is a symbol that I designed for myself in the beginning of the game. So you can wear your own symbol or one of the unmodifiable ones. The best way that I can describe this game is that it kind of reminds me of an action MMO called Vindictus. And it also reminds me of a short-lived Sony action RPG that was called Nosgoth. So what Nosgoth was a battle between vampires and humans in the world of Castlevania, essentially. It's that universe, the way like World of Warcraft takes place in the Warcraft universe. Nosgoth, actually, no, I'm sorry, the Legacy of Kain universe is where it took place. And it was kind of fun, but it was short-lived. It didn't last too long. I enjoyed it for quite some time. You were forced to play as the vampires for a round, and then you played as the humans, and there was about 4 or 5 classes for each, and it was third person. Aspects of this game do remind me of Nosgoth. It's kind of a shame the game went under, but after you got above level 10 and you were kicked out of the noob servers, you were often dumped in servers where you were 10 or 11 and everybody else was 30 and 40, and the skill gap was just ridiculous. Matchmaking was not always the fairest, and it got kind of slow at the end, which is why they killed it. So when you win a battle, be it AI or regular multiplayer, you can deploy attack and defensive units on the map. Sort of like a Defender of the Crown, or I guess Risk. I've never played Risk, the board game, but I kind of know of it. and you deploy assets in these zones of conflict. So here in the Dominion area, you can see that the the Vikings are warring with the Knights over here. And where there are zones of contention, if you own it, you can deploy a defender unit. If the enemy owns it, you can deploy attacker. Whoever has more of these deployables in that zone at the end. So the next territories are updating in an hour and 50 minutes, so about 2 hours from now. So if we were to look here and you see that red, which is in control of the Vikings, if we, as the Knights, had more attackers there, when the update occurs, it flips over and goes to the Knight. And it affects the aesthetic of the battlefield. So if you were to get into a battle in one of those zones, whoever owns it, so okay, here's a good representation. The Knights do look to be stronger than the Vikings in those red areas. So when the territories update, the Knights right now are going to take over all of that red because we're winning the conflict. There's one that is actually a three-way conflict between the Samurai, the Knights, and the Vikings. And again, looks like the Knights, if it ended right now, will take it. However, there is one zone between the Knights and the Samurai that the Knights are going to lose. So that's the ever-present world of this particular game. So, well, no, now taking a look at it, the Knights are much stronger. So, and now the Knights are actually going to lose one to the Vikings, or lose an attack against the Vikings. So whenever you take over a zone, the aesthetic of the map that's played in that zone is oriented towards your faction. So if it's Samurai, you'll see a lot of Samurai gear on the walls and bridges and everything. If it's Viking owned, you'll see their gear around there. So the modes are Dominion, which is 4v4, and it's kind of like domination in some games. You have A, B, and C. A and C are usually off to the side control points, and B was that seesaw area in the middle. Deathmatch is fight the opposing team in skirmish and elimination modes. So this is just straight up kills. You're not controlling points, you're just getting points from kills. And then you have duels and brawls. So brawls are 2v2s and duels are 1v1. In a brawl, generally what happens is that, say you are there with your friend Bob. Bob defeats his opponent and you are still fighting. Bob will walk over to your area of the map, and dishonorable combat would be Bob jumping in while you're still fighting, stabbing the guy in the back a few times, and you win. You might think, well, that kind of makes sense. Get the kill. Get the win. You have the numbers game. But it's not the most honorable thing in the world. And if you play a lot of For Honor or watch a lot of the streamers, you will see that pretty much, unless people are being dicks or initiate the numbers game, basically, people kind of stand off. So if I'm fighting my guy and Bob comes over and he watches me fight and I lose, Bob will jump in and fight. How quickly he jumps in really is kind of a matter of the honor level. Bob might let the guy get his bearing for a second and start the fight. Or he might see me fall, realize the enemy only has like 10 hit points, and just stab him once, and that's it, before he even recovers. You don't see too much ganging up in the game unless somebody starts it, and then all bets are off. Basically, it takes like one or two people to kind of bring the numbers game, and then that's it. You don't see that much honorable combat for the rest of the match. So it's actually kind of surprising in this world of trolls online and, you know, shit talkers and everything like that, to see people kind of hang out and generally play the game relatively honorably. So you have dailies, and you have orders and contracts and everything. I don't know why I'm not getting any progress. Oh, it has to be elimination. That's why. I have to do, in order to get credit for that, I have to do player versus AI, and okay, that's why I'm not getting credit. So you have dailies that you can do, and some of them are AI, some of them are just multiplayer. The store allows you, because it's for in the beta right now, allows you to order the different versions. Social is getting your friends, and of course options is where you can set display, graphics, audio, controls. As you can see, there's a lot. One stick is movement, one stick is your guard direction. Guard is up, left, or right, so you want to predict where the attack is coming from and try to guard in that direction. You have light attacks and heavy attacks. You have a cancel heavy attack, which is a fake of a heavy to try to bait somebody into a light counter, to which you're immediately prepared for. You counter their attempted counter, and now you have the upper hand, and you do something. You have a dodge, and you have a guard break. So guard break is basically the throw. When you saw me lift up the enemy's arm and get a few stabs in, or lift up the enemy's arm and do the backflip kick, that is what a guard break is. Essentially like a throw in Soul Calibur or something like that. So it's an interesting game. I don't know if I'm going to pick it up right in the beginning, mostly because I have Neo on the PlayStation 4 and Final Fantasy 15 on the Xbox One and my PC games, so I just don't really have the time for another major game. If it wasn't for those, I probably would pick it up, especially if I can get better, because it is a fun game. But it is a game that I think to get the most amount of enjoyment out of it, you have to find somebody you are comfortable with, and you have to be good at it. I think this could be a very, very frustrating game if you are not good or just constantly getting your ass kicked. It's probably a controller throwing game at that point. So thanks for checking out the video, everybody. I hope you get in on the open beta, and if you're interested in the game and plan on playing, let me know, and let me know what characters you're interested in. Peace out, everybody.